What's an example of toxic femininity? If you gave birth through C-section, you're not a real mom. What the hell? Suddenly 9 months of pregnancy, a terrifying procedure, and caring for a newborn doesn't count because the baby from his mother's womb was untimely ripped. Whose baby is this then, since apparently no mothers are present? Shaming other girls for not doing or liking the same things you do, and implying that their preferences make them not real women or similar. Basically saying that your way to be a woman is the only valid way. My friend group used to be painfully toxic. It drove me crazy. My 2 closest female friends were pretty into going out on weekends, really dressed up, to get guys' attention. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that except for the fact that they disliked that I didn't join them. Me, a lesbian who, at the time, was in a serious relationship. They'd get upset that I chose skinny jeans and cardigans over cocktail dresses and heels. I wore a lot of flats and tried to make me feel bad about myself so that I'd be more like them. They invited me to a party once that required dresses, so me, who wasn't super into them at all at the time, being me, I borrowed one, and they begged me to not wear a cardigan just because they thought I should show more skin at parties. I brought a cardigan with me, put it on, and found a guy in an outlandish tux who helped me do shenanigans all night. Stayed friends with the guy and talked to neither of the girls anymore because their expectations were unrealistic and they liked me better as who they wanted me to be than who I was. One got married to a guy who likes Skyrim. I also like Skyrim. She judged me for liking Skyrim, but let him go on and on about it and agreed with opinions. Some people. I've started reading a lot of forums of expecting mothers and mothers, and it's terrifying to see how much pressure there is regarding birthing and motherhood. You'll never be a proper mother. If you have a C-section, you will never bond properly / be a good mother. If you don't breastfeed, if you don't do X or Y or Z, your child will be unhappy, unloved, and will die, and it will be your fault. And measuring a woman's worth over the power of their bottom parts. Shame on you for doing IVF. There must be something wrong. If you had only miscarriages, adopting is fine, but is the acceptance of failure? BO moms are best moms. Whatever is happening in Facebook mom groups, some women are so out of touch with reality and high on toxic femininity that they think their uteruses are better than any doctor and that their feminine intuition supersedes any medical testing or intervention available today. Women are being brainwashed into skipping fetal testing and to avoid medical intervention even in life or death situations. It is literally killing mothers and babies and injuring a lot more. The quote, "If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best." Basically expecting a partner to put up with your drama as proof of them actually being into you, or making them jump through hoops to prove they're into you. A lot of the answers here are women doing bad things, but that's not what toxic femininity is. Just as men doing bad things isn't toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is the expectations placed on men by society that are ultimately harmful to men. Expectations of how a real man is supposed to act, like a real man is always strong or a real man doesn't show emotions. That means the female equivalent would be the expectations placed on women of what a real woman is supposed to be. Things like a woman should place raising a family above a career, or a woman's worth is defined by her looks. I see a lot of body positive women that are mean to my girlfriend for working out and keeping her body hairless. They always say she should be more loving of her body and embrace her body hair. It's annoying. She does it cause she likes it. She goes to the gym and does deadlifts cause it empowers her and makes her feel amazing. Like, we all have different ideals and visions for our life, and after moisturizing herself and shaving, she likes to rub her legs together like a cricket, and nobody should be taking that little slice of heaven from her. Believing that it's a man's job to impress her when she's dating. Screw that. If you like someone, act as though you like them. Dating is an equal exchange of time and emotional labor. If she feels like she needs further financial compensation beyond that, paying for the food / show / whatever it is, then maybe she don't like him enough. My son is high functioning autistic. My ex still knew this and knew he hated being touched. He loathed being touched. She would make a huge deal about giving him a hug like it was some kind of game for her. He would protest and tell her to stop, and she wouldn't. We would tell her to knock it off, and she'd laugh like it was all in fun. One day she sneaks up on him and hugs him while laughing. He grabs her and throws her into the refrigerator using all the strength you would expect from a surprised person defending themselves. She starts screaming. She runs to me and claims my son assaulted her, and I was like, "We've been warning you for years. You've been assaulting him, and he's finally defending himself, like we told you he would." She now claims we're raising an abuser, but my son is a gentle person, now 20, who wouldn't hurt anyone unless provoked. Touching without permission. There's a bit of a double standard when it comes to touching in the workplace. I'm big on permission. Like, no matter your gender, I'll hold out a hand to shake hands, and that's as far as it goes. But if I know you, I'll be like handshakes, hugs, or hellos. If I don't know you or have never met in person, I'll offer the handshake, but that's it. So for context, I'm a well-built gay man in my 30s. I train for and play rugby in a non-profit predominantly staffed and led by straight white women, mostly in their 50s, I guess. To some of them, I'm their workplace eye candy, and importantly, these folks are all higher up on the workplace hierarchy than me, and we are hierarchical and title fixated to the point of obnoxiousness when we have retreats or conferences or whatever and actually come together face to face. The amount of intimate comments from a handful of women colleagues and their hands resting on my arms, shoulders is just weird. They often follow up with a comment about my body itself, like, "Ooh, you've been working out," or "your arms/chest looks so big in that shirt," as though maybe because I'm gay, it's safe to hit on me at work, and it just like escalates at social events where there's alcohol, like it goes to straight up caressing and grabbing, and it's just so uncomfortable. I'm also drinking, and somehow I'm able to keep my hands to myself. Anyone can harass anyone else. But there does seem to be a certain level of permission afforded here that is unacceptable in other ways. These are otherwise very much feminist people. Why can't we all extend each other the same courtesy regardless of gender and just not do this? As a general sap, nobody is entitled to touch your body without your permission. No matter your gender or vice versa. You are not entitled to touch anyone else's body without their permission. No matter your gender or Defaulting to the female parental figure in all things child related. I worked an hour's drive away. My husband worked 15 minutes away. We clearly listed him as a primary emergency contact on all school forms and even noted that he was closest. We told the kid to specifically request they call dad every time there was an emergency. Guess who got called? I would then instruct them to call my husband, because my leaving work to take the kid home means they have to deal with an extra hour or so of projectile vomit, or whatever. We ended up just listing his number as mine. Stupid. Testing. This applies to testing their romantic partners, just as much as their friends or family, where they intentionally put someone in a situation that is rigged against them, in order to judge them in some fashion, based on their reaction. I'm not claiming this is a feminine only trait, but in my personal experience I've seen it come from women much more than men. My sister's friend recently gave her permission to pursue a guy they were mutually attracted to. My sister did, and it turned out that the friend was only testing to see if my sister was a real friend or not. Yikes. Playing both sides of the gender card, wanting special treatment and chivalry, insisting on equality at the same time as expecting to be treated everywhere they go, in long-term relationships when doing housework, and watching the kids as falling into roles, but expecting the guys to make the most money, do manual labor, and that is just expected. Then when it comes to divorce, getting as much alimony and exploiting every legal position to gain. Girls who hit guys because they know the guy won't hit them back. My husband and I have gotten into huge fights with his sister and her husband over this. Their daughter hit our son because it's fun, and she can. He hit her back. Bill told him he couldn't hit her because she was a girl. Got very upset when we told him not to teach our kid that, and that he was just teaching his daughter it was okay to hit boys because she wants to. He accused us of raising him to be a bully, and we corrected that we are teaching him that he shouldn't be hitting anyone unless he was defending himself. We pointed out she has a history of hitting him because it's fun to her, and we've had to discipline her in the past for it. We babysat her for years, and he outright denied and refused to believe his daughter would do that. We didn't talk for a long time, and we didn't have to babysit anymore.